In today's video, I wanted to talk about how I'm using James Clear's Atomic Habits to transform my life. So if you saw in a previous video, I had talked about how I'm currently on maternity leave and I am working my way back into seeing clients, but there was something, this drive inside of me that was saying, you know, like the hustle, the grind, the working, 40 hours, seeing 30 clients, like that grind is over. We're like not there anymore. We want to lean more into our creative side. I'm a creative person and I have never really leaned into it because it was not rational. I didn't grow up like that. But something is urging me to get more into being a creative person. And in my meditation/prayer, what showed up was that I need to get into more of a serious relationship with YouTube and just overall content creation, aka a blog. And when I sort of came to this acceptance of it, I said, okay, what are my goals? And I think we all do this, right? We're like, what are our goals? I got to get back into it. I've got to lose some weight because I want to be, good on camera. I just want to be thin and I want to get my body back after baby. I want to, my goal is to get 1,000 subscribers so that I could get monetized. My goal is that this year in 2024, I want to finally make $100,000. Like I just want to, it was all outcomes based. And when I was reading James Clear Atomic Habits, because I remember him giving you the formula, and if you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. Obviously 5+ million people have read it. And I think what I wanted to do was to spark the motivation, right? So I had already read it and I just said, okay, I'm going to reread this because I need to remember what are the habits that I need to incorporate to be successful. And I totally forgot that he spends a huge portion of the book talking about navigating away from outcome-based goals, aka make 100,000, lose 50 pounds, get the 1,000 subscribers, and focus more on identity-based goals, which is who is the person who weighs, 130 pounds? What is the person? Who is the person? What are they doing when they're making $100,000? What is the, what is that YouTuber doing when they are having they have 1,000 subscribers? And then it became about you base your habits based on that identity. Well, I will say to you that inherently what showed up was resistance. And the resistance was, and I think it's the subconscious was showing up and is freaking out because I'm trying to embrace maybe a new identity. And I think we can all relate to, we want to be these things, but then it's resistance shows up. And the resistance for me was, who wants to watch a 40+-year-old Black YouTuber? Stop it. Who is going to pay you $100,000? Then you have to see a gazillion clients, no one's going to want to pay your fee. You're not meant to be thin. You're supposed to be the fat friend. If you lose weight, you won't be funny anymore. What if now people want your attention if you're on YouTube? We're introverts, right? We can't, what are you doing? And so the resistance showed up. So as much as I had the best of intentions in embracing this new identity, really what I am fighting against is the resistance that is pushing me to not embrace the identity. And so I am doing the work through James Clear's, in his framework and manifestation, which I will cover in another video, to really combat the resistance that is showing up against the identity that I want to embrace. So part of the journey is in challenging the subconscious and the resistance that is showing up, and how can I use, the habits to change my identity and to embrace this new identity. So one of the first things that is one of the laws that he uses is make it obvious. So for me, that means is finding people who look like me, who are doing the things that I want to do, so that it is this feeling of, well, there are actually Black YouTubers, there are actually, you know, thin, funny people out here. There really are, you know, people who can make $100,000, like doing YouTube or blogging or being a therapist. Like, you really can. And I'm on the mission right now to find evidence to support the idea of, you know, like, no, there really are people who are doing what you're saying, you know, that you want to do, and the identity that you want to have. The other exercise that I'm doing is in saying, what am I really afraid of? You know, what do I think is going to happen if I, you know, start making $100,000, and really inviting the resistance to show up and say, like, okay, if you make $100,000, you're not going to be relatable to people anymore. If you lose the weight, you're, you know, like, you're not going to be able to hang out with friends and go do lunch or eat pizza or, you know, have drinks or eat the cookies anymore. You won't be able to do those things if you know, lose the weight. If you become a content creator or a YouTuber, are you going to become like some like affiliate link whore, and you're going to, you know, you're going to have to constantly, you know, do more to get more subscribers. You know, like, you're going to have to just do podcasts and speaking engagements, and you're going to have to market yourself, and you're going to have to put yourself out there, and you're going to have to be, you know, like, what happens if you're successful? Like, now the privacy that we want to have is going to be gone. And so it's inviting the resistance to show up, and then bookending it with evidence that supports, like, actually, you can be a YouTuber and be private. You can make, you know, $100,000 and still be relatable. You can, you know, be 130 pounds and still be funny. And it's about challenging, inviting the resistance in, and then challenging it by giving it evidence that says, okay, you know, we're gonna, like, there are people who are doing the things that you do and are successful at it, and, like, there's no need to be afraid. The other aspect of James Clear's atomic habits that I am incorporating is, you know, just establish the habit. You can't change the habit if you don't establish it. So as much as there's resistance to this new identity, part of it is like saying to the resistance, it's like, well, what if we just try, I don't know, like saving $5? Or what if we just try walking every day? Because really, the person who I want to be is not necessarily 50 pounds lighter. I just want to be healthy and active and be able to run around after my kids. You know, making $100,000 is not just to have the number in my bank account. It's to be able to pay for experiences for my kids. It's to pay for us. We probably have to get a new car that's going to fit all four of us now. How do we, like, we're looking to do these things that we can really buy into. We want to be healthy. We want to be able to pay for summer camp for my son. We want to be able to pay for daycare. We want to be able to pay for a minivan. Like, those are things that, like, the subconscious can get behind. It's not like, so I can buy monkeys and like be a recluse like Michael Jackson or something crazy that happens when you get a lot of money. The other aspect of the habit tracking, that's the other thing, is habit tracking. So it's about making it obvious, saying to myself, I'm putting things in the win column, aka I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna record, and it might be a hot mess, but I'm gonna record. With, like, you know, like, the job is to just lean into being a creative person. I don't know what that's gonna mean. I'm gonna focus less on the outcome. Fingers crossed that it works out. But really, how about we just lean into being a content creator or just creating content? Because our whole life has been about being rational and being, you know, like, statistical and being sort of like with goals and outcome based. Like, how about we just focus on experimenting and trying things out? So these are the things that I'm trying to incorporate, like remembering James Clear's suggestion that it's about identity, but it's also about dealing with the resistance that is showing up and embracing the resistance and not fighting against it, but it's about saying, okay, you know, like how do we change your mind in a way that's not scary, in a way that you can buy into. And again, it's not about being somebody who the subconscious is telling you like, oh, you're going to be this awful, different, weird person. It's about saying, no, we're doing these things because we want to have a life that you can buy into. Ostensibly, you can buy into, you know, like not having to do mental gymnastics to figure out how we're going to pay for a car. Like you can buy into that, right? Like, and again, the exercise, the journey is in saying, you know, the resistance is going to say, well, you're not meant for this to be easy for you. Like, Black people don't get on YouTube. Like, this is not like, there's going to be a dance, right? Like, it's not going to be just this one time and you start doing these habits and it's going to all of a sudden convince your subconscious. It's this dance of like, oh, okay, well, you're doing it, but you know, like people who are successful, they're only in Europe being successful. You know, like I don't see any, you know, middle-aged Americans being successful on YouTube. We're only seeing these people doing it in other countries. Okay, so now I have to do that dance, right? It's about saying, well, you know, you've not been eating cookies. You know, you told me that we could still eat cookies and you're not eating cookies and you're eating all this fruit. And it's about, well, but we're actually enjoying fruit more now than we are cookies. And like, okay, so let's have a cookie and see, I don't really like it anymore. Well, you're just trying to convince me. It's recognizing that if there's a dance that's going to happen and there's going to be a subtle shift that hopefully you progress and you take yourself to being the person that you want to be, and ultimately stepping into the identity that is going to be for you. I also forgot to mention that, you know, the resistance that shows up is going to be people in your life. I almost missed this one. This is huge. That what resistance is going to show up is going to say, like, your friends, your family members, your whoever is not going to like the new you, and they're not going to give you permission to change into this new identity, which is also what stops us. Is that, you know, well, what's going to happen? Like, what are people going to think? Am I going to lose my friends? Am I going to lose my family? Am I going to, you know, like, might I possibly, you know, lose my marriage, you know, if I start doing these things? And that's scary. And that's, again, something that you have to invite in. And you're also almost saying, like, I need those people to give me permission to change. That's also a shift that you have to work through, is that no one's going to give you permission to change, and that when you do change, those people are going to be with you. If they really are going to embrace the journey with you, like, yes, there might be, I don't even want to say there might be some resistance, but you have to tell yourself that you have to give permission to yourself. Those people cannot give you permission, and you have to give yourself permission. But then that also means that you have to change, which could be a good thing, the dynamic that exists with those people. And then you also have to find your tribe. You have to find other people who are doing the things that you're doing, and it's not weird to be doing the things that you're doing, that you then can also say to people in your life, actually, I'm not weird. That, like, there's a whole world out here of like Black YouTubers, like, you know, like, that I'm convincing myself, and I'm also convincing you that, like, there's a whole world out here. There's a whole world of people out here who are making 6 figures, 7 figures, you know, billionaires, who are still kind and who are still generous and have not changed, and, like, are still driving the same beat up car that they were driving when they didn't, you know, have the $1 million. So it's about also recognizing that you have to find a community or communities where what you're doing is normal and is actually, like, that's the standard, if anything. And about saying to the people in your life who may give you some pushback or give you some resistance, it's like, no, look, like, we actually can do this. We actually can buy into this messaging. Like, it's not just me saying it. I'm not pulling it out of thin air. It actually exists. So I say all this to say that while I wholeheartedly recommend James Clear's Atomic Habits, and you really need to read the book, I think, to just help you establish some good habits, What really I want you to focus on is the identity-based habits of this and what resistance is showing up and how to navigate the resistance that shows up when you want to embrace these identity-based habits. So I will keep you posted. I am on this journey to becoming a content creator, and hopefully you will join this journey with me. And if you are on your own journey, please share with me, how can I support you as you try to embrace possibly a new identity and a new transformation, and share with us what you're doing. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.